Thank you. Well, good evening, members of council, members of staff. We do have some guests in our gallery, Mr. Snook and Mr. Short from the Stephenville Airport Corporation. I'd like to welcome the attendees that have logged on to our public meeting today, July 20th, 2023. And it is, let me lower my glasses here, 7:03 p.m. I would ask the member of council to move that we adopt the agenda as circulated.
I move.
Moved by Councillor Tracy Boland, second.
Second.
Second, Councillor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, item number 2, I'd like to, first of all, have a land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the town of Stephenville as the ancestral homeland of different populations of Indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Bealta, the Mi'kmaq, Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Item number 3, approval of the agenda, of the minutes that was, is there a typo there, Madam Clerk? So 3 weeks ago, what was that date? Okay, that, we'll just omit item number 3. That was a typo there. Oh, I got to go here.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so item number 3, the approval of the minutes. Our town clerk has circulated our minutes to council. And I would ask a member of council to move that those minutes be adopted.
I move.
Moved by Councillor Tracy Boland, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councillor Lenny Pillar, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, item number 4, are there any matters arising from those minutes? No matters arising from those minutes. I'll move on to item number 5. And proclamation and delegations, we have none at this time, Jen? No, okay. So I will now turn it over to item number 6, which are the committee reports, and I'll turn it over to our trusted chair of finance, Councillor Myra White. Take it away.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on July the 17th, 2023, and the following items were recommended for council approval. Item number 1, Property Collections Officer Report. Requesting approval for the remission of tax in the amount of $948.44 and refunds of $485.26. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councillor Laura Aylward, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 2, amend motion 22-294. Stephenville Airport Corporation. Requesting approval to amend motion number 22-294 that the town of Stephenville, upon the sale of the airport properties in fiscal year 2023, will write off and prorate property and business tax to the date of sale. And all estimated property tax, okay, sorry, and all outstanding interest related for the Stephenville Airport Corporation. Estimated property tax and business tax with interest up to December 2023 is $417,374.59. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, seconder.
Can you maybe explain that a bit to the tax?
When you get the seconder, I'll open up the
Okay.
question. Yeah. So can we get a seconder?
Second.
Second by Councillor Laura Aylward. Yeah, so basically, it's an amendment to the motion. We did a motion in September 20th as a precedent thing that we do every year in the town of Stephenville. We write off the business and property tax for the Stephenville Airport Corporation. We've been doing it for 30 years. We tend to do it at the end of the year, but because the pending sale could happen any day on closing, we had to get the amendment to say that on the day of closing, we would write off prorated. So if it closed at July, for example, the end of July, we would only write off taxes for 7 months of this year. And the new entity and owner would start paying taxes, property and business tax, starting August 1st. But we don't know exactly what day the closing is, so that's why it is amended to say on day of closing. We had the estimate done to show what it would be if it was a full year, so this should be a partial year. But in the past, we have written off this every year, it happens every year. But they do pay their water and sewer taxes every year. And it's no different. The town of Gander pays, writes off property and business tax at the Gander Airport. So it's a precedent thing that's happened. The anomaly on this one, why we're doing it now, is because we're hoping and praying for a pending sale any day now. The terms have been met on the side of Carl Diamond and his investors. So I hope that answered your question, Councilor Wolf.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Any other question?
Well, I'll speak. It comes up every week. I say the same thing every week. I'm starting to sound like I'm on repeat. So, as I've mentioned before, yes, there has been a precedent that we have done it. Either this council or the last council did agree to see the airport through to the time of sale, thinking it would be long before now. And since then, we've put in, I don't have the exact figure, but hundreds of thousands since that time, since we anticipated the closure. There was comments made a couple of weeks ago at our public meeting about the Gander Airport not paying property and business tax. After that meeting, I went back and looked at their annual statement and came across their audited financial statements and their annual review they do to the public, and came across a line called payment in lieu of taxes of $127,432. So I inquired to what that was. And what that is not property business tax per se, but it is a payment they make every single year to the municipality. So the municipality is getting something in return from the Gander International Airport. So I don't know, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, it was a bit misleading, even though it wasn't intentional. So they are paying something to Gander International Airport. And aside to that, the Deer Lake Airport in their annual review mentioned that they pay a municipal taxes, that's the line that they have, of $40,000.
That could be water and sewer.
It could be, and
Yeah.
you're very well right. It very well could be. All it said on their audited statement was municipal taxes 40,000.
Yeah.
So I said it the last time, I'll say it again, all the liabilities of the airport were being paid, except for the tax liability of the residents who kept the doors open to get to the point where we got here, but the residents won't be paid at the end of it. That's all I have to say on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Tiller. Any other questions?
I'm really confused. So you're saying the residents won't be paid, but if the airport is sold, wouldn't the residents start getting paid
Correct.
when the airport's sold and
Yes,
Carl Diamond
correct.
starts taxes?
Yeah, actually,
I'm sorry, Tristan, what did you say? Sorry?
Yes,
Kristen,
that's correct. So when it transfers, a new tax regime starts under the new business.
yeah, and if you look at what the motion had estimated, instead of the town putting out $400,000 a year, we won't have to put up $400,000 a year. And depending if your appraisals stay the same, it could bring in $400,000 a year. So we're $800,000 to the good, really.
So let me just get this straight. If we write off these taxes, then they can proceed with the airport sale. If we don't write off the taxes, can the airport afford to pay these taxes back to the taxpayers? So I'm like confused and conflicted.
So
here. How does,
This is just a precedent, is the terms, and this is our commitment as a council to move forward with the Stephenville Airport Corporation's Board of Directors, which is a non-share community board that have found a mechanism to sell the airport, pay off their debt, get themselves out of bankruptcy. So just think today, we're out of bankruptcy protection. 6 months ago, we weren't. So that's from an airport corporation perspective. So this is a good news story, and this will put positive cash flow in the town of Stephenville so we can do better recreation, better roads, better water, better environmental sustainability. So, this is a good news story for us and puts us in a very sound position. But I appreciate those comments, Councillor.
Was that a question directed at me to my comments or just a general? Like,
Just a generalization of
like
how it all
I can
works.
answer what you asked me. And the airport couldn't afford to pay its bankruptcy or the line of credit
Right,
until the sale came. So a
Right.
liability is a liability is a liability. So if anyone said, if people in bankruptcy said, no, we're taking our money, Diamond said, well, I'm not going to pay it. The airport would have had to find the money or the business died.
so
So every.
what is the resolution here then?
Finished. I'm not finished. So why is our liability different than everyone else's? Because we could have set a precedent with the airport many years ago to say your property and business taxes is $1. And every year we will
We're
write
not
off
allowed
the
to do it.
$1.
The Municipal Assessment Agency is the entity that sets, the only thing we can change is the mill rate. We can't say.
So
that-
we could have changed, so there's only one airport in this community. Why wasn't the mill rate changed years and years and years ago to a point where the number was so low that it would be irrelevant?
That's probably a question you'd have to ask that council.
Yeah.
But then I'm just trying to answer the question of, we
But I
charge
don't,
the property
but I
taxes.
don't see where you're going with it is the thing. Like, I don't see your point with it all.
The point is, everyone else got paid. Everyone else was seen as a liability. Taxes is a liability in a business. The residents of this town are left out in the cold and told to wait. Everyone else got paid at the time of sale, except for the residents.
Councillor Tiller, let me just clearly state that the Stephenville Airport Corporation set a terms in the sale agreement. In the terms of that sale agreement, paying taxes to the town of Stephenville wasn't part of the requirement in the terms. There was two terms in the agreement. One was the completion of sale on Pike's Hangar. So we will be receiving a check from the Airport Corporation Florida to pay the residual on the mortgage. And was there one other one? The water and sewer taxes are paid. That's part of the term. But the taxes were not in the terms, so you can't go now and say we want to put taxes into terms because they weren't there.
We also never saw the terms of agreement of the airport sale, Mr. Mayor, to be
Yeah.
fair, so.
So we had some good discussion. This has been precedented. This is supporting the Stephenville Airport Corporation in the sale of the airport that will put us in a position for taxation and growth at our Stephenville Airport, and will take the burden off of the taxpayers, put money into the airport. So on that note, I will call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contra mine.
All right,
Noted, we have 5 for and 1 against. Motion carried.
Christian,
He voted.
you voted.
Okay, good debate. It's always contentious with the airport. Just go to show how important the Stephenville Airport is to the town.
yes, you're right.
Absolutely.
It is very important to the
Yeah,
town.
it's very important. And it's so important to the town that it was one of the critical check boxes, I'm sure, when World Energy, obviously it was an airport as why Carl Diamond won standard. But World Energy having a port and an international airport on the northeastern seaboard of North America, adjacent to Europe, in the best wind corridor, with probably the best core infrastructure in Canada, that you can go sea to air and air to sea for heavy industry. So it just goes to show how important our airport is. So I'll turn it back to our chair. Go ahead, Councillor Yulin.
It is important, I agree, and as a taxpayer myself, it's important for it to move on as well under new ownership and new leadership. It's either this or that, and as far as I'm concerned, it's time for the airport to move on to that, because we've tried this.
Thank you, Tristan, and myself as a paying resident of Stephenville for 48 years, and I'm sure Laura has the same amount, and we certainly want to say yes to this deal.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to move on to item number 3, accounts payable, June 2023. requesting approval to pay accounts payable in the amount of $191,967.15. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Yep.
Second by Councilor Lenny Tiller. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 4 is the expense check, June 2023, requesting approval to pay expense check in the amount of $451,782.11. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Laura Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 5, approval letter 17-GI-24-00025, Russell Heights Reconstruction, requesting approval to accept the cost shared funding agreement as outlined from the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure approval letter for the project number 17-GI-24-00025 Russell Heights Reconstruction with a total project value of $1,248,821.00. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide municipal shares of 20%, totaling $226,494 for this project, and authorizes the mayor and the town clerk to enter into a funding agreement with the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure on behalf of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councilor Tracy Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a mouthful, Myra.
Item number 6, approval to submit application for Canada Community Building Fund for wastewater treatment plant. Requesting approval to submit a capital investment plan application to the Canada Community Building Fund Secretariat, Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs in the amount of $95,423.76, HST included, to restore flow from the wetlands beds and install fence around clarifiers. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councilor Tracy Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 7 is the adoption consolidated financial statements for the period ending December 31st, 2022. Requesting approval to consolidate financial statements for the period ending December 31st, 2022, and the annual expenditure report, local gas tax funding agreement for the year ended December 31st, 2022, as presented. I so move.
Moved
Second.
by Councilor Myra White, second by Councilor Aylward. I just want to say that our statements audited after adjustments came in a little bit better than we anticipated. We had forecast a roughly 1.8 million deficit that we would carry over 3 years, and that would be 600 per year. And but it did come in at 1.5, so it's a little bit better than we anticipated. So the management will look at where will we offset that 300. So if we offset that 300 this fiscal year, this year we'll only be carrying a $300,000 deficit on a $10 million budget. So that's very important. And I just also like to say to the previous motion is that fund is 100% grant from the province. It's all municipalities based on the numerics of your population. We get a quota. And when we apply for that funding, it pays for 100% of the cost. It doesn't come out of our tax revenue. So just to clarify that. So a little bit of good news. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 8, request for funding, Art Festival Stephenville event. Requesting approval to pay supplementary invoices for Art Fest Stephenville events in the amount of $4,550.53. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Counselor Laurie Elward, all in favor?
Aye. Item number 9,
Did
How many do we have in favor?
you vote? Who's voting? I said aye.
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 You-
Contra mine?
Tristan?
I'm gonna contra mine on this.
I got a question about it. What's this for?
Yeah, so basically, this was for the Art Fest event. We had 3 local events during the PBS shoot in Stephenville. We had an event that took place to kick off the 4-day Art Fest weekend at Rizzoli's, where we had entertainment and a comedian. We also had an event that took place on Friday at the Redwood, where a local traditional band played. And then we had several local groups perform at our town square on Saturday. So all of those events had coverage from PBS, as it's going to be in the documentary and showcased on the PBS network. The other thing in this was that there was a cost that we had to pay for 2 of the mayor and the CEO of Art Fields out of the US. We had to cover their hotel costs, because when we sent a delegation down, myself and Marissa Abbott, the city of
Lake
City Carolina paid for our hotels down there. So they had asked if we could pay for that. So part of that cost came in. And really, if we would have took the cost of roughly the hotels, which was equated to what the dinner costs, we would have been only over by about $1,600 on what we anticipated in the grant. So we never know how these events on the cost recovery was going to happen, and that's how it was set up. So it was part of our cost for Art Fest, but it was also to support the PBS event.
Well, you know, the arts, Newfoundland and Labrador came into the community. And that, to my knowledge, they never ever came before.
I think they.
Maybe one time, it'd be a long time ago.
But the
That was
reason why,
worth it, really.
and the reason why they decided to come to Stephenville and host it was because they knew the PBS event was
Yes.
happening. And that week, our hotels were full.
Yeah.
Like that, this art event created a lot of economics for the town.
It was well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no doubt.
So does that kind of clear it up, Councillor Hewlett?
It does to an extent. Was there an itemized list put out of what that was spent on?
Say again, please.
Was there an itemized list put out of what it was spent on? Because it's a rather
Yes.
large number.
Actually, there was. It was a breakdown of the cost, roughly the cost of the hotel was the same as the cost of the dinner. So it was expensed under business expense for the dinner, but PBS, Fabian James Production paid for the hotel that we didn't have to pay for. So we kind of switched the invoices and what we were paying for. But it was just small residual expense, but the biggest cost there was the hotel. Our
Okay,
commitment on it.
and was there any kind of cost recovery done?
Yeah, there was actually cost recovery at the Redwood. They charged $10 at the door. And that was handled by our students to our recreation and event planning. And I think, no, there was, I don't think they did a 50-50 draw at the town square. I can't remember. There was so much going on that day with cameras, but they were talking about a 50-50 draw. I'm not sure if it was done. But there was a breakdown from Marissa and the department on the event. Because it was sound technician, we had to have sound. We had the youth accordion group that were filmed by PBS.
No man.
And this is going to be on the PBS network, but it's also going to be on the NTV, Home is Where the Art Is. So we got a lot of coverage from this.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contra mine?
Contra mine.
Yeah, I'm
Tristan?
gonna have to on that one. It's not clear
Okay.
enough for me, unfortunately.
Motion defeated.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're gonna have to pay you, my costs, I'll soak it up myself. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Item number 9, request for advertising, Atlantic Business Magazine, requesting approval to decline advertising in the Atlantic Business Magazine. I so moved.
Moved by Councilor Myerland, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilor Tracy Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 10 is the public meeting platform, requesting approval that the public meeting of council not be live streamed effective August 10th, 2023, and members of the public are welcome to attend the public meetings of council in person. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Do we have a seconder?
Second,
Second, Councilor Laura White. Okay, I'm gonna move it to question.
Make a comment. One of the things I've done, and we've had many discussions about around this table, is trying to find ways to do better outreach and draw interest to our meetings, because we don't get a lot of people on the platform that we use. And we've had those discussions of what we should do and is there better platforms. And what I hear from the residents most, especially the older population, is the system is so complex for them to access. It's something very difficult. So Pat watches all of our meetings when he's up to it, but I always have to sign him in before I leave and flip back and forth because he can't get in himself. I understand there are concerns when it comes to our live meetings and there's the results that are coming out of it. And I understand that we have options to read minutes and people can come into the chambers, and both are wonderful options. And to me, they're options that should go hand in hand with live streaming. So what we should be trying to do, I'm speaking for myself here, I'm going to say we, not all of us, but for myself, is look at options to broaden how we get that out. I mean, I see sometimes Rec House Press will have updates on our meetings, but they don't send anyone to the chamber for our meetings. So obviously they're watching the live stream and they're trying to update the residents of Stephenville the best way they can. To take live stream away after all this time when people got used to it, it's kind of a detriment because it does more than just being transparent. It makes things accessible. So we know not every resident in this community is in a position where they can get here every second or third Thursday night to walk in to see our meeting. It's not an option. My feeling as a resident should be able to watch our meetings on their time when they want. And that's why I always felt we should be expanding the horizons, posting them in more places, being fully transparent and accessible on it, and make it very, very, very convenient. I mean, we have a chance here. By doing this, I think we're regressing a little bit. So we have an opportunity going forward as the town moves forward, is to set the bar for transparency and accessibility of our council meetings and what they look like. And set the bar for the rest of the province on how it should be done.
Okay, any other commentary?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Councilor White.
If this was supposed to be the best thing for the town of Stephenville and the people who watch it and the people who can't get out to the meetings, I feel that this has become not a good thing for our town. I think it is bringing up a lot of things that should not be said and accusing people of things that are not right and not the whole truth gets told. So I'm finding this more of a vendetta against personal or two people on our council, in our community. And I don't like it. And if that's what we're doing, we're going down the wrong path. And I've had a couple of seniors that I speak to. After what they're hearing, they tell me they don't want to hear it because they come to the council and listen to look at for good stuff, not for nasty. They don't want nasty. They've had enough of nasty in their life. And they tell me it's not a good thing for them to listen. They don't want to hear people being tore down or being spoken about or whatever. So I don't know really how I really feel on it. I really want people to be in our meetings, but I think we're going down the wrong road with this. personally. And I'm sure that everybody here knows exactly what I'm talking about. I can't be any more clear than that.
Yeah, you're right.
Councillor Bolden.
I'm not really sure. I get why this is probably put forward because of all the social media slander, which comes with today's world. And, but I am kind of with Lenny as well now that I've really thought about it. And, you know, we do need to move forward with, keeping it live, keeping it, you know, maybe do it better so that more people can chime in. I'm not really sure how we can, you know, reach the seniors, maybe another newsletter, I don't know. But transparency definitely needs to, is the most important thing for this council. So I get why this is put forward because social media is, you know, at the end of the day, we are human beings. We did step up and be counselors, but we are human and we do take a lot of slander on social media. And a lot of the stuff is untrue, but sadly we can't fire back. And that's the most frustrating thing about being a new counselor. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to read all the slander. I came into council for the right reasons, and I want the general taxpayers, the Stephenville taxpayers, to know that I became a counselor because I wanted to move our town forward in a positive way. And I'm constantly being slandered on social media, and it's getting harder to play this role out. I want nothing but the best for my town. The town of Stephenville is where I grew up. I stand by the town of Stephenville. I have always supported the town of Stephenville. I've always bragged about the town of Stephenville, and I still do today. And I've got the town of Stephenville and the taxpayers' backs. But at the end of the day, the slander is getting very difficult. The bullying and the slander is getting harder and harder for me every single day. And I see why coming here in person maybe is better so that we can confront in person. But I also see Lenny's, Councillor Tiller's point, I'm getting a little frustrated. But I also see Councillor Tiller's point that we do have to roll with the times. And I know I got into municipal politics, maybe a little bit too naive. I really came in it for the right reasons. And I'm probably not tough enough for this because I am taking a lot of slander and it's really hard on me mentally and health-wise. But I am going to punch out the next 2 years and hope I can still continue to be the best counselor that I can for the people of Stephenville. But I am with Councillor Tiller. I really do, now that I've thought about it, need to keep it on social media because not everyone can come in. So I'm going to be with Councillor Tiller on this one.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hill.
What about Tristan?
Okay, Councillor Tristan Newland, you want to go in on the discussion?
Yeah, I can, sure. I see both sides of it for sure. I've been in business a long time, so I don't tend to pay much attention to negative noise anymore. You know, you always take into consideration what people have to say about you, and you try and evaluate the best you can. But as someone who is currently sitting here, able to attend this meeting via Teams or a social media platform, I think taking it away would be regressive. It is a great tool for so many people nowadays, myself included, who do lead busy lifestyles, as well as people who may not be able to get into the chambers to actually view a meeting. So I do see both sides of the coin, but my standpoint on it, I believe it's something that we should keep because it increases accessibility for people, not only from here, but from abroad, to be able to view the meetings and kind of stay in tune with what's going on. I know not everybody is going to agree with what we do on some stuff. A lot of people will agree, but the more feedback we can get from, especially the people that communicate it properly, it only means better things for the town and the surrounding area. So I think it's something that we should keep.
Okay,
And that's-
thank you very
that's-
much for that.
Yep.
Councillor Yoder.
Well, it is nice for people to be able to go in and see, sure. But for one thing, the setup is not absolutely perfect because you got to go on live as the meeting is. Whereas if some people got things on to go and say, well, oh my God, I really would like to watch this maybe on Sunday morning or something, but I can't go in afterwards and look at it. But from my point of view, and sitting here at this table for 30 years, I can absolutely tell you that the people that have attended those meetings here live, I could almost count on one hand, two hands anyway. And we've had open houses, we've invited people to come out, and we've had food for them, we've welcomed them, and we've had maybe a handful of people that came. Prime example, since we went live, the most we've ever had maybe was 30, but most times is only 4 or 5 or 6. So the people of Stephenville, in my view, think council is doing a good job. So they don't need to listen to them. And they've told me that for years and years and years. Why do we need to go and listen to your meetings? We know your council is doing a good job. I've heard that many times. But these people that go on there for the sake of wanting to go on to arrest people, that is another story. And I agree with Councillor White that what's been going on to a couple of our councillors is not acceptable. And, you know, it should be really, it should have gone to, if it were me, I would have had to get a lawyer and get those people, put them in their place, because that's all they got to do was go on there and criticize and harass councillors. It's not even professional. It's not sensible. So I would vote not to have it, simply because the interest is not there. It is not there, I'm telling you. Sorry, Lenny, I know your grandfather might love to do it, but you got to admit that that interest has not been shown, that people want to go on there and listen to our council meetings. They got better things to do because they figure that council is doing a good job. And I think we are. We always do a good job with what we got to work with. Here we are, we're short of staff. You know, we're trying to cope with, we went through the pandemic. We did a lot of stuff. And our town is beautiful compared to some other towns. We're lucky. So I can't see why people are so out there, I want to go in there and watch the meetings, because they can come anytime and watch the meetings. They know that. But people know that everything is going well and there's nothing to worry about. If there was, we would be surely letting them know if there was a big problem with the town. And right now, the only thing that I can see is we're short on staff. We had a new manager come on. We had a new public works person come on. New people. It takes time for new people to have to learn the system. And not only that, there's holidays comes up. There's sick leave. There's all these things that come up. And all these people, all the people that work under this council and the people that report to management, all these people got families and children in school and different things like that in sports. So there's lots of things that they have to do besides sitting here and for a little tiny bit of pay, by sitting here at the council and trying to solve problems for the good of our community. And that's what we're all here for the good of our community. That there's no doubt about that. I wouldn't be sitting here for 30 years if I didn't think I wasn't doing something right. And I wouldn't have got elected 8 times if I wasn't doing something right. So I think that a lot of stuff that comes up is not pertinent. It's not something that we need to deal with because it's already been dealt with most times. And as far as the production and the workers, I think we have a good staff of workers with the town management and the union people, that they do a good job. And even though people will complain, oh, it didn't get done today or didn't get done yesterday, they do a good job with at the best of their ability, what they got to work with. And you can't fill a hole or fix a hole if it's pouring down rain. So there's all kinds of issues out there. But as for me, in all my years I've been here, I haven't had very many complaints from people about the councils. So my main focus is, I think we go forward in a positive way and not let those people that are out there negative, but everything that we do is negative, that we forget about those people and we just go on in a positive way and try to treat our people fairly and go on with to try to do a good job as councillors and as mayor, and hopefully things will be fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Great discussion, and because of great discussion, we're being open and transparent. And no doubt, when we got elected, Councillor Boland, on council, when you take public office, with it comes a lot of challenges, because not everybody will be in agreement of the policies we develop, the decisions we make, and the projects we take on. But at the end of the day, the majority of citizens in this town elected this council for 4 years. So we have a mandate that we have to fulfill. And I don't have time to read a lot of the stuff that happens on Facebook, but I hear there is a lot of negative stuff that comes out. And that is challenging, not so much for me as a person, but it's very challenging for our town. Because sometimes people will make comments when the comments they're making are not accurate. But when they make an inaccurate comment, it's on the social media platform and it resonates out there and it puts negative connotation on our town. So that's the really negative part about it. The positive stuff that Tracy's focused on, and Myra and everybody else, is that when people speak highly of council and the work that our management and staff are completing, that's the very positive side. And I've said it before, for those who don't like what we're doing, got an easy choice. Become a resident of Stephenville, put your name on the platform and run for council or office. Do you want to make a change or make a difference? What I will say in the defense of any council position, including myself, that when people are disrespectful, that it pushes over the line, that it is malicious and criminal to some degree in what they're saying. Remember that we as a council have legal office, and at any time that any councillor feels that your position as a councillor is being challenged, that's not appropriate in the court of law, that we have a mechanism that we could go against the person that's challenging us. So we all have that right at the table. I'm in support of transparency, but it is challenging, like Councillor Boland said, and you're new to council. Myself and Laura, we're not new. Maybe we could take it a little easy, or our skin is a little thicker. Let's just say that. That's an old cliche. But we did talk about having some open houses, and I know what Councillor Aylward said, very few people come. And even though we have 2 people in our public gallery tonight, most times we have a public meeting, we have nobody in our public gallery. We do have 20, 30, sometimes 7, 8, or 9 that will come on Facebook. And for some of them, they just have a genuine interest and so proud of Stephenville. They could be a resident, or they may have might be living in the US or the UK, and they just log on because they're proud of their town and they want to hear the good work that council's doing. And that's the positive side of the social media platform. So on that, I think we've all had some good comments because it is important. We have a motion. We have a seconder. You got that, Jennifer? So all in favor of the motion And the motion, do you want to just read it again? Because we went on for quite some time there, Councillor White.
Okay, requesting approval that the public meeting of council not be live streamed effective August the 10th, 2023, and members of the public are welcome to attend the public meeting of council in person.
Okay, so we have a motion and a seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Contra mine.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, 3 contra mine,
For you.
2. If I vote in favor of canceling, the motion will be defeated because it's tied.
What's Kristen?
Pardon?
If you vote 3-3,
Yeah,
Motion defeated.
I'm contra mind, Laura.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's 3 contra mine,
And
2, I have the final vote. Say that again?
is you're not voting for live. So then if you're voting for live meetings and it was 3-3, motion is defeated.
Yes,
Am I correct in saying?
correct, yeah.
But where you're, please correct me if I'm wrong, accountant, but where you're voting, the motion's on the table not to be live and it's 3-3, wouldn't that go ahead?
No.
no,
No?
no,
No, it's still defeated.
defeated,
Defeated.
defeated.
That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
And we're 1 councillor short.
so, for me, before we had social media, my closing statement, I would say, before we had social media, we still had public office, people could download the minutes, and you still had people that could challenge you, whether it was on radio or in writing and stuff like that. There was still mechanism, but this is a new platform. This is social media that is happening. I do know that 50% of the people or more, or 90% that might log on are pro council and our decisions. 10 out of 100 that logs on over time are probably against it and maybe making false statements. That's outside of our control. The way the world is now is freedom of speech. So on that note, I will allow the vote to be defeated, but I will vote in support of the motion. Let me just get this straight here now,
To take it down.
not to be live.
Yeah.
To be live.
Okay, so motion is defeated. 3-3.
For now.
So you stay alive.
3-3. Okay, so that's the last item you had, Councillor White.
Yep.
My God, it's a long meeting.
I didn't.
Okay, we're gonna turn it over.
How many's on there?
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over. I'll just wait a minute, Councillor. We'll just, there's something more for a bit of air.
Yeah, it's warm.
Oh, I find it's still there.
Oh,
Okay, I'll turn it over to our Chair of Planning and Traffic, Councillor Laura Elber.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a long, good few items, but they're pretty short. The Planning and Traffic Committee met on July 17th, 2023, and the following items were recommended for council approval. Number A, 3549 Cornwall Heights, Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corp. Requesting approval to issue a permit to renovate roof on apartment complex located at 3549 Cornwall Heights. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Laura Elber, second.
I'll second.
Second, Councillor Tracy Boland, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item B, 4761 Brook Street, Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation. Requesting approval to issue a permit to renovate roof on apartment complex located at 4761 Brook Street. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Laura Elber, seconder. Second, Councillor Lenny Keller, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'm glad to see that Newfoundland and Labrador Housing are doing some work on their apartments. Badly needed.
Yeah.
All in favor, Tom?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Get that? Okay.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Item C, 1994 Queen Street Dynamic Occupational Health Services requesting approval to issue a permit to operate a healthcare clinic and erect a sign on the building located at 9094 Queen Street with approval of Service NL. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder. Second, Councilor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item D, Minnesota Drive disposition of property requesting approval that the town of Stephenville will convey a parcel of land on Minnesota Drive at fair market value for the development of collaborative care center as advertised by the provincial government. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Myra White. I'd just like to speak on that. It's great to see our provincial government investing in Stephenville once again in healthcare. Our last major investment in healthcare, significantly with new infrastructure, was the building of the Sir Thomas Roddick Hospital. We still call it new because it still looks pretty good. But this is a new collaborative care clinic. It's a new model under the healthcare accord recommendations. And what it will do, not just for the province, but for the town of Stephenville, it will play a pivotal role in retaining and attracting healthcare professionals. Because when you have modern, innovative, trend-setting facilities, it plays a critical role. And, especially from ergonomics to safety, security, HVAC systems, when something's new and modern, people tend to work in those places and enjoy working much more. So
Question?
great news, great leadership, Councilor Myra White.
Minnesota Drive, were you talking about this piece of parcel of land? Could you tell me roughly where it's
Yeah.
located?
So it's located right across from the new CNA flagship, the Center of Excellence building, where the College of North Atlantic is, right across the road.
Just up a bit.
Just
towards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question for information purpose now, so I'm always drawing the blank. Conveying a parcel of land just means we're selling it to the provincial government or we're selling it to,
Well, we don't know whoever wins the tender, that we're saying that this is a good site for a medical clinic, and whoever wins the tender, should they want to buy it, we would then sell.
okay.
Yeah. This clinic, collaborative clinic is already in effect.
Yes,
Down at the old building at the Bay St. George Medical Clinic.
Yeah.
But they're overrun, like there's just no room anymore. And they have, because they have not only doctors down there, but they have nurse practitioners, they have RNs, and they have LPNs down there, and they have diabetic nurses down there. So there's different people that are down in that building. Now they're supposed to be renovating the upper part of the building, would make more room. But to my understanding, and maybe we can check it out, maybe Colin can check it out even, that the upstairs of that building, from what I'm hearing, is the government of Newfoundland and Labrador is doing the renovations for tourism offices or something like that. But even though we're getting a new clinic built, it won't be built for about 2 years. So right now, we have new doctors coming in because that's what the collaborative clinic is all about. Calls for 7 doctors. Where are you going to put them if you don't have a place, So if we had that building renovated upstairs with more offices, those doctors continue to work there until we got the new building built. But I'll talk more about that when I'm doing my comments, okay? So anyway, number E,
all in favor?
or did we vote all in favor? Aye. Oh,
Aye.
God. Sit when you're rambling road.
Unanimously, Jennifer.
Number E, 205 Carolina Avenue, 92577 Newfoundland Labrador Incorporated, requesting approval to issue a permit to utilize space and erect a sign on the building located at 205 Carolina Avenue to accommodate a manufacturing business with approval of Service NL, and I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Nice to see manufacturing coming to see.
Right. Number F, 24 by Pioneer Drive, requesting approval to issue a permit to construct a single-family dwelling on the property located at 24 Pioneer Drive. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder. Second, Councilor Tracy Boland, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Item G, 19 and 17 Main Street, Bella Line. Requesting approval to issue permit to remove manhole rings and covers and replace with paving at the locations in front of properties 19 and 17 Main Street. I so move.
Moved by Council Laura Elbert, seconder. Second, Council Teller. I'm not sure if I can actually add this in, probably not, but it's just a thought. I know they want to do some upgrades, which is great, but it's too bad we couldn't get basic service for our cell phones from Bell, because we don't have it in this town. Our cell phone service is terrible. And I would recommend that management would write Bell and tell them that they have to solve the inconsistency of cell phone service. Whatever the gap is, whatever the tower requirements are, whatever it takes, this town is growing and people spend a lot of money for their cellular service, and we are not getting the service that we deserve as a municipality. Same thing in Kippens, I understand. So can we, I don't need to add that to the motion, I'm just having some discussion here. But my recommendation is that, as we move forward with this motion, that we would actually write them
Yeah.
and put our concerns forward.
Okay, yes, of course.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so, we have a motion and a seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item H is 44 Queen Street, Easy Home. And they're requesting approval to issue a permit to install signage for Easy Home on exterior and interior of building located at 44 Queen Street as per drawing submitted with approval of Service Newfoundland Labrador. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Tracy Boland, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item I,
Motion carried.
203 Queen Street, Life is Dandy, requesting approval to issue permit to operate a home-based bath and beauty business from the residence located at 203 Queen Street with approval of Service NL, and I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Myra White. You know, I kind of agree with this. Life is dandy in Stephenville.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, we have a motion and a seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carried.
Item J, I think,
Councilor Aylward, you're in conflict here. I'm going to step away from the table.
Right.
But ask that you take over the chair.
okay. I remember how to do this.
Bang your.
Bang it away. Next item is, no, please note, Mayor has stepped from the table. Next item, J, 45 Hillier Avenue is requesting approval to issue a permit to construct a 14 by 16 accessory building on land located at 45 Hillier Avenue. I so move. Seconder?
Yeah, you had asked for one?
I so move.
Your chair, you gotta ask for a second.
Gotta ask for a seconder.
A seconder, yeah. Oh, yeah, I need a seconder. I told you, I forgot.
A long time since you did it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, 45 Hillier Avenue, and it's been moved and seconded, and all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carried. You don't have to bang on that. Next time.
You should have banged it a little harder to get that second.
I know, hey, yeah,
Sorry, I just.
should have.
No.
Oh, my. Number King Court, Thomas Amusements, requesting approval to issue permit to operate the Thomas Amusements Midway located on Kin Court for the period of July 25th to the 30th, 2023. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Aylward, seconder. Second, Councilor Lenny Tiller, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item L, World Energy H2.
No, it's a GH.
You know, GH2.
Just said it, World Energy GH2, right?
World Energy GH2. Requesting approval to issue a permit to dig test pit holes in consultation with the Public Works Department Location of testing sites are as submitted, may have to be modified due to the municipal infrastructure. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Lori Elbert, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Meyer. I just want to say, anytime that we dig, it's just like, people have to call, whether it's electrical lines, stuff like that, but anytime we have integrity of water and sewer lines or piping into, above ground tanks or underground tanks, that we always have to make sure that Public Works is advised and that we do, cross checks to make sure we're not drilling that we could disrupt the line. So sometimes, the test pit might have to move 10 meters from where they were gonna do it. So it's good due diligence.
Question?
Question.
What about, when you're doing the testing sites? Is Bell included in any of that we may have underground lines and stuff like that?
Sending underground lines where they're doing this.
Okay, you're just asking now.
Yeah,
Would
normally,
Bell be,
sometimes if there's a fiber optic, usually now Bell has all their fiber optic marked.
oh,
But we would have a schematic on that to ensure that we have no disruption. It's just good due diligence. So
Absolutely.
good question, Bill.
thank you.
All in favor?
Bye.
Motion carried.
Number M, World Energy, GH2, requesting approval to issue permit to clean up site in preparation for industrial usage as submitted on the property located at the dock area. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laura Elward, seconder. Second by Councilor Tracy Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I want to say that I anticipate our port is going to get very busy in the next 5 years.
And that's all for planning, unless there's anything that came in later.
Late,
I don't think there's a.
Can you give us can I ask, can you give us an update onto the hatchery?
yeah, actually, we're getting an update coming up on the expansion
Oh,
on Monday.
Okay,
So we'll probably read it.
okay, I just wanted to see if there was anything on the,
But, I missed the public one that they had. I was out of town. That they had, I think that went very low with their expansion plans. I will say that we're very fortunate to have Maui in Stephenville. It's scaling as the largest salmon hatchery in North America. And remember, we're here because we are a dandy town. And we have one of the best water systems in Canada. And our high alkaline water is the number one reason that they're here. World Energy's number one reason they're here is not our good looks,
excuse
it's
me.
our wind. Excuse me.
Good for yourself.
Look at myself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any unfinished business? Any new business?
Bylaws?
Oh, sorry, bylaws, nothing on bylaws and. Oh, okay, so no unfinished, any new business?
Can we get an update on our water system right now?
Sure.
Are we still hooked up to Kippens and
We
How
are,
long?
but we draw minimal from Kippens. I think we're only drawing about 40 gallons a minute. It's just to be able to, when we replace number one, our number one well, which is a high performing well, then we'll disconnect. But until that time, we're drawing minimal. And we just connect just so when we get to that point where we can get that fixed, because anything can happen while we're fixing that, right? Next week, we start putting in the infrastructure for 8B. So we should be able to get anywhere between 100 and 200 gallons per minute. So currently, I think we're drawing more, at the middle of the day, we're producing about 200 gallons per minute more than we're using. So our system is in a good position just yet. But until we get number one fixed and our extra 2 wells that we're going to have to do, then we'll be really prepared for growth. But we're the planning's there. We're in a position by the fall to be able to be fully done.
And so just to make it clear to the taxpayers, this is a long time of very minimal or no maintenance that was done, and then we actually
2014.
redo it.
Yeah.
So it's years and years of very minimal maintenance done.
2014 was the last time.
2014 was the last time we had maintenance on our wells.
Well, they were cleaned out but that's where we are. So,
Right.
and the same sewage treatment plant. So we're doing that maintenance now
So the sewage treatment plant had no maintenance for a while
for a
either.
while too.
So that needed to be done as well.
And we're just finishing that now.
And so all of that stuff's gonna be up to snuff.
Absolutely.
Well, we just asked tonight, Councillor Boland, that we've got to clean up the connector between the clarifiers and the reed bed system. So we're just doing that now. But the system as it is right now operates fine. We just have to be able to just enhance it a bit more.
And I just want to say too that we're very fortunate that the leadership, actually Mayor C. Stein, pushed for a sewer treatment facility and our artesian wells.
Did, yeah.
It was great leadership from that previous council, but we are fully compliant federally as a municipality in Canada because we come under federal jurisdiction for effluent. But there's still a lot of communities in this province, across this country, that are not treating their sewer.
Stephenville is treating their sewer.
Yes, we are treating.
There was I guess, an issue on the beach where there was a backup. I have to bring it up because a lot of people are seeing the needles and the garbage on the beach. But that is not caused by our sewage treatment plant, correct?
Well, not really, but what happens is our sewer outfalls sometimes get clogged because we get sand gets pushed along the beach, and what happens is you can see it you can see it right now on any kind of breakwater that the sand pushes up, but at the same time pushes into our outfalls. So we have to clean these, and then what happens when we clean them, get sand out of there, usually every year, we get a little bit of buildup because there's a little bit of solids that kind of come through the system, and then it'll come out in the beach. But this morning I was down on the beach looking, and Mike Whalen was down, and Councillor Tiller was down, and we checked the beach, and the tide brought it in and then brought it out, and it was gone. So it was just an evening issue. Usually happens only once a year. So when we have to clean it just to be able to move the sand out.
But sadly, people flush needles and things they shouldn't flush.
Yeah.
And that's out of our control.
Yes.
Well,
Regardless.
in 90% of the communities in Newfoundland, it goes, all that solids go right
Right.
into the bay. So what happens is and even other communities around Bay St. George, that goes right into the bay. So whatever's flushed goes in. For us, no, we pick up our solids, and our solids are taken away to the waste management
And
system.
actually, the reed bed system, how it works, the EBITDA system, it actually eats and decomposes and eradicates our sewer. And our outfall is the residual that comes out, and it's part of the engineering footprint of the EBITDA system. But what happens is especially if southwest winds in our bay, even into the channel of the port, it starts to silt in, so they lose ground. So this year we'll probably see our port being drenched because silting. Same thing happens. We have an outfall there, and a southwest flow, silting could come in, and once a year we might have to go and clear it out. But it gets tracked to see through our public works and our water and sewer department. So it's just part of standard maintenance.
If I can add, Mr. Mayor, it is a shame that people flush solids.
Yes.
It is a shame, so they shouldn't. That should
Right.
be, solid should be carried in solid waste. That's what it is, but it happens. And because it happens, and sometimes these are needles, and sometimes it could be for drug usage, sometimes it could be for insulin, whatever. It's done. And sometimes other products are being dumped as well.
There's products,
Yeah,
yes.
feminine products as well, and that's just happens. So what happens is, and unfortunately, the ocean is the repository of a lot of these things globally. Now, we can say from Stephenville that usually the vast majority, I mean the vast majority of our solids are captured and then taken away to solid waste management. So this is, again, as the mayor mentioned, something that past councils have done a wonderful job to be able to put us in this position where we are fully compliant, and we really do, we have the opportunity to do that good job. But sometimes what happens is systems have to be clean, and sometimes, we have momentary issues, and we hope that this is not going to happen again. as the system, again, we can find for enough.
I've heard on the radio that people have been asked not to deposit anything because of our system. And I guess some people just don't.
I just have,
Well, some people still throw garbage out of their window when they're driving around on the highway, so.
there was something that I saw on social media about, we as the town of Stephenville did not raise property taxes, correct?
Correct. Let me just clarify that.
Please.
Since I've been the mayor, we have actually reduced the mill rate. So we dropped the mill rate from 7.4 to 7.2. We have not moved the business mill rate. We have eliminated the poll tax. So as a council, we have not raised any taxes, any mill rates. When assessments happen, that's outside of our control. That's provincial assessment. But as a council, we're very proud to say that not only have we reduced the mill rate, we have eliminated taxes that we felt were an regressive type of tax that had the adverse effect on maybe some lower income socioeconomics.
But this year, there was a supplementary assessment by the assessment
Yeah.
agency, and that is what you're seeing.
Yeah.
This is not an increase in tax. This is an increase in the value of houses that were done by them.
Thank you. I
Therefore,
want that explained.
therefore, the amount of money that you paid, it has, you had to pay a supplemental, but that wasn't because of us. That was a provincial.
Yeah. That's out
Assessment,
of our control.
and it's totally under our control.
Well, I've received several calls on that message, and that's basically what I say is that in somebody's infinite wisdom, they decided to make the municipal assessment agency a provincial body who goes around and assesses all these things. So our mill rate is our mill rate. That's what we control. We're given this number. It says your property is worth X, and you apply the mill rate to it, and that's how we get property tax. If their assessment goes up, our mill rate stays the same, you will see a little bit of an increase, but it's not on the town of Stephenville. It's because the municipal assessment agency has said the property value of your home has gone up, or value of your property has gone up. So therefore, you are paying more, but your tax haven't actually increased. The value of your home has increased.
Okay, thank you. I wanted the tax.
It's technical, and this is the thing to explain. When you start to get technical and litigate it with people, it gets very, very finicky to explain.
Yeah.
I just want to mention a couple more things, sorry. I was seeing a lot of feedback about us not doing a music fest this year. So I wanted the taxpayers to know that this is the music fest last summer. It's actually not a town event. It was done by the SPCA and, well, myself outside of the town as a volunteer. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of volunteers and it's a huge commitment. Sadly, there's probably not going to be one this summer, but maybe next summer.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Councilor Boland, for last year stepping forward to help out with Music Fest. It was a big success, but it usually takes a community group, whether it's one of our community groups, maybe next year it could be the Kingsman Club, for example, that may do it. But this year, remember, we pulled off our first annual Art Fest event. So that's kind of a substitute for Music Fest. But I'd like to see personally a community group take it on next year and kind of theme it to a country hoedown, rib fest kind of boot, scoot and boogie kind of event, because there's a lot of country in the Stephenville Port area.
And I have one last thing.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to attend the North American Indigenous Games in Halifax with my daughter is actually a competitive track and field girl, and but the entire team, Newfoundland team, they're really doing well, and we should all be so proud of them. They are like so strong, and we really do push off some amazing athletes out of Newfoundland. So go Team Newfoundland and Labrador.
What day will it close?
Closing is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Friday.
So we'll have the final medal count after tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, well, I wish all the athletes, it's so nice to see athletes representing Newfoundland and Labrador. We're small in population when it comes to Ontario and Quebec, but we know how to stand up and take it on. And I'm sure a lot of medals will be coming back. So I'm looking forward to see the final count. Two things I just want to speak on. First of all, I got to congratulate Gene House on the 50th anniversary of the Seville Singers. It was a phenomenal 2-night event. I attended one of the nights with Councillor Laura Elwood. We had a great time that night. Never got out for a dance, but it was a good time.
Yeah.
No dancing, it was all floor show. They had everything tied up. But it just goes to show the caliber of our musical talents in the Stephenville, Bay St. George area. It was a phenomenal night. And I gotta say, I was very proud of our Deputy Mayor, Susan Fallow, who had 2 solo performances. She did a Anne Murray song that took it outside the park. She just made us very proud. So congratulate Susan on that. Mayor Fallow, sorry, Mayor Fallow. There was a Mayor Fallow.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta say, I attended a couple of events already with the Stephenville Theater Festival. I attended their opening night, Rock of Ages, which is anybody who likes 80s classic. It was over the top. It was the performances, the actresses, actors. It was an amazing night. I got to go to the dinner theater, which was a lot of fun. It was Canadiana, all Canadian music. And some great big C from Newfoundland was in the mix. That was really good. But it's the 45th anniversary of the Stephenville Theater Festival, the longest professional theater group in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And it is noted that actors and actresses that come to the Stephenville Theater Festival, that Stephenville Theater Festival in Stephenville, Newfoundland is a primer for Broadway. So our caliber is second to none. Very proud of the board of directors, the manager, Ben Pittman, and the artistic director, Heather Broughton, for what they bring to our stage. Opening night was a full house. The dinner theaters, Canadiana, was sold out both nights. So if anybody's listening, you want to get out for a night of entertainment and good times, head to the Stephenville Theater Festival. Okay.
There you go. But, well, Lenny, you got any? Your turn?
I got a quick one and
Yeah.
I feel terrible because I forgot the gentleman's wife's name. But last Sunday I was at the airport for breakfast and there was this gentleman got up and was looking at this picture of, I don't know much about planes, it's a military plane, but it can land in water. And he was looking at it and he was getting a bit emotional. There's 3 of us sitting at the table and we asked him if he was okay. He said, my dad flew that plane when he was here.
Now,
So we got to talking. He said, me and my wife are from Carolina, trying to get back to Stephenville for years. I grew up here and started talking about he grew up in Silver's Apartments. So he asked me where that was and I said, oh, that's on West Street. That wasn't where it was. So I was able to find someone who knew Stephenville a whole lot better back then than I did. And throughout the day, they were able to take him around, show him where he grew up, where the old Silver Apartments was. I believe they were able to get into the Legion at one point. But his dad served here for almost the entirety of the base.
wow.
And they moved back to the estates and he followed in his father's footsteps, served in the US Army. This is the first time they were able to get back.
Wow. How old would you say he was?
I would say he's in his mid to late 70s.
Did you get his name? You didn't get his name.
His name is Kim. Never got the last name and I forgot her name. I should have copied it down.
You should have.
Yeah, I gotta learn better, Laura.
Yeah, I want to say condolences. I don't know if anybody did already, but for Trixie Hines.
Yes.
Just passed away,
Well, I was gonna
108
say.
years old.
Yeah,
And that was Kenny Hines from Hines Esso's mom.
yeah,
And
What a
so,
wonderful lady. And,
yeah.
you know, we all maybe want to live to be 100, become a centurion, but she went to 108. She really,
Well, she died a couple of days after her birthday.
Yeah.
Not long after she went in long-term care, which was sad.
very sad.
But she grew up in Sandy Point. She was in the survey.
yes.
And she had a twin sister, which I didn't know. And the twin sister died at 28 years old. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so, and her husband was Frank Hines, Hines.
Well, it's so like, you know, full condolences to all the family, because when you're 108, you got a lot of family out there. A lot of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren probably.
Oh, yes,
So
yeah.
big condolences.
She, also, I guess you saw on Facebook, where Father Monsignor Peddle died, and he had been stationed here for a number of years, and in Port-au-Port, and in St. George's.
Mhm.
And I had forgotten about it, but while he was in our diocese, as far as I know, in 1974, he had a young sister that was murdered in St. John's. She was in her third year university to be a teacher. And this guy raped her and murdered her. And he admitted that he had raped her and he had to kill her because she was going to report him. And Father Peddle and all his family, 14 of them, were raised in the Triton. That's where they were raised. And this young woman, he was supposed to go to jail for life. And I don't know how long he did stay, but he's passed on now. Yeah, but sad story, though, I kind of forgot about it. But anyway, but we all remember Father Peddle when he was here, The only other thing I'll say is big shakeup this week at what used to be Dr. McCumsky's clinic. Also, there's 2 new doctors coming, I mentioned before. One starting Monday down at the Bay St. George Clinic, and there's another one's coming in August. One is, I didn't get up both names because the girl I talked to didn't remember the other name. So they're going down to the Bay St. George Medical Clinic. But like I said before, it's overcrowded. You got nurses sharing the same office. You got, like, it's really, really, and that's supposed to be the collaborative clinic that we're using right now.
That's why we need this new.
Yeah, that's why we need that. Yeah. So, if maybe as a council, we could get a meeting on the go with someone from Western Health and maybe the government to explain to them that while they're waiting for this tender, it's going to be awarded, and whoever's going to get it, it's going to take about 1 to 2 years for sure.
Definitely.
To build that clinic. So we could tell them about the upper part of that building down Bay St. George that they're renovating as we speak. And why, what are they doing? Maybe they could let that go to the new doctors that are coming, because how are you going to get doctors to come here if we got no place to put them? So and we've lost the nurse practitioner in Emerge. She's gone down to that clinic. So right now, Emerge is going to be a lot more busy. We don't have a nurse practitioner. And if Dr. McCumsky retires in December, if he don't have a place to practice, 3,500 patients, including me and my family, are out the door. What are you going to do with them? So there's a lot of issues, Mr. Mayor, on the go. So maybe we could
We'll call a meeting with Western Health and just have.
get together and meet with them and see if we can come up with something, because it's badly. This is an urgent situation that I can see, because the situation that with clinic, you can't get through to the clinic because there's no one answering phone.
I also want to say too that just before I call for the adjournment, that I believe we have an aircraft coming in tomorrow, possibly Lou. His father got killed in one of the airplane crashes in Stephenville. We have a Air Force memorial at the Legion that shows the 6 aircraft. Some of these aircraft had fatalities, some didn't. But the one his father went down on is out in Bay St. George. They stay on the right cloud conditions, sea state, wind. There have been aircraft flying in on the approach runway 09 that actually could see the plane down in the bottom.
Yeah.
But he's flying in tomorrow, and but his father had passed in 1953. So on that note, I will ask a member of council to adjourn the meeting. So moved. Moved by Councilor Lenny Tiller, seconder, Councilor Tracy Golan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion adjourned. It is 8:26.
Oh.